ball magnet, quarter time. Good young player, Jackson McRae. Silky. He's had the footy more than anybody else on the ground despite the scoreboard. Well, a couple of them have had 10. Jared McVeigh's up there with him. The ball magnet Sunday. Now the Gabba, where Fremantle defeated Brisbane by 58 points. Nice running goal around the outer side. Walter's so important back in their team. Main, and this is Hayden Crozier from long range, puts it through. But out of all of that, 58 points the margin. Fremantle still 0.5% behind Port Adelaide. So everything to play for next week. As far as they're concerned, Port, they need just to win to finish fourth. Aidan Ballantyne got 3 goals, as you can see, and Hill, who's been in a rich vein of form, has 26. Andrew Welsh is down on the boundary. Andrew?
Well, it's all the Sydney Swans, a great spread of goal kickers. They've got the 6 individual goal kickers in that first quarter. They're really just pressuring the Bulldogs out of the play. Their best ball users are not getting their hands on the ball. Bontempelli, the 1 touch. Higgins, the 1 touch. They're just not getting the most of it. Cremery, one of their power forwards, has not touched the ball yet in that first quarter. These are the guys, they're leaders. They need to get into the game, get the ball in their hands. But the Sydney Swans pressure is just making it too hard at this stage.
Well, you're right, Walshy, because remarkably, the contested possessions, the Bulldogs are leading that by 1, so they're actually winning their fair share of contested possessions, but the pressure then on the outside, it's just not translating to any fluent ball movement at all for the Dogs. And the Swans, on the other hand, well, they're just doing what they want at the moment.
Start of the second term, we're missing Scott Jeffrey, one of the league's best. He was down to do this one. He's not umpiring. So the man with the football in his stead, Jordan Bannister. Start of the second term. Pike with the judgment, knocks it down. Boyd goes after it. Jong in trouble, gets out of it. Nicely played. Boyd back inside. Well worked. Johannesson got it across to Higgins. Higgins inside the forward 50, and Stringer gets on the end of it. Now, last time we saw him on Sunday Football, he played very well.
Yeah, good ball movement here by the Bulldogs. Jong joining in. Couple of quick hands, and then this is what Sean Higgins does so well. Beautiful ball use going forward. Stringer just had that couple of metre break on his opponent, Teddy Richards. It needed to be perfect, and it was from Higgins. Be great if Stringer can kick this. Just give the Bulldogs a little bit of confidence. Just let them build into the game a bit.
That last game we saw 5 against the Bombers, giving him 20 for the season coming into this one. 2 hauls of 4 as well. This kick is nice. He brings it back left to right and puts it through. That's the start they need to galvanise them.
Really good play here by John, just to wrestle the ball out of that congestion and then get the ball moving. This is where you catch Sydney Swans' defence unawares, because you can find some space when you get the ball there quickly.
So Stringer, he gets his first goal of the afternoon, and had his first child during the week. The 20-year-old Abby Gilmore, his partner, had a baby girl on Thursday, Miller Jane. Congratulations to both.
It's a good name, Miller.
Good name. Some stars had babies during the week. Well done to you, Lingy. Your second. Mad Max now has a brother, Sir Henry. Wide ball to Malcheski, to half forward Jetta in the air. Just got lost a little. Higgins never took his eye off it.
What was he thinking there, Jetta?
He went back, didn't he?
He did. He went. The ball was directed to him. It looked like he thought the ball was being directed to somebody else.
Just saw Tommy Campbell there, just a bit of a poke in the eye, a bit swinging arm. He's just a little bit hurt, coming to the bench now. Hopefully he'll be okay in a minute or 2.
Glenn, what's the footing?
Well, Pike, a couple of midfielders lurk, hungry for the football. Biggs, one of those, had the ball, lost it. And now Dalhouse. Well, Jack was a tackler. Dalhouse stood up, gave it off. Griffin in turn to Jong's got Malcheski coming. Didn't see him. Picked up now by Malcheski, finds his target.
1 metre, Jace, 1 metre.
The pressure immense from Sydney. Cunningham, wide ball, Rampy, back onto the favoured left boot. Tippett got 3 dogs to beat. He was held.
Sydney. Get both arms around him, Jordan.
Well, this all came from this bit of play here. Jong, just that fraction of a second hesitation. But brilliant work by Malcheski to lay the tackle. A free kick there. Again, that's just that undersized feeling of thinking, I need to grab a hold of something there just to make a contest. So hard for Roughhead and also Morris down back.
Desperate deeds, desperate deeds. Ruffy just feeling for Kurt Tippett. The free kick given, Tippett's got a couple.
Let's have another look at that tackle there. Malcheski just coming up, created the turnover. Jong just hesitated and Malcheski just went bang and straight back down for that Tippett goal. Look at those goals there. It is all Sydney.
51 plays 14. Campbell after that loose ball. Cunningham almost stole it. Off the ground by Jack to his own advantage. Well, coming across on the angle. McVeigh left it, so Jack goes again. McVeigh waiting to lay a tackle there. Robat goes down, and the umpire blows the whistle.
We should remind ourselves too, Dennis, their number one midfielder, Kennedy's not playing today. Luke Parker's already had 5 clearances, though, so they're being able to fill that gap nicely.
And that was after a string of 127 consecutive games that started at Hawthorn. That's remarkable durability. Towers jumping. Parker hand passing. And now a chance as Lloyd tracks it inside the 50. Unfortunately, Sydney had 2 gentlemen there and they both stepped aside. Liberatore's got the footy and comes out bouncing and sends it wide towards the wing. Cramry couldn't take it. Robat cruising past. Cramry's got a problem. Taken down, it's 3-on-2. Robat enters the fray again. Cramry gets to his feet. He's dragged down by Grundy and the umpire whistles it dead.
Rampy's a really good matchup for Cramry too because he's got great athleticism, he's got speed, and he's also got endurance. 2 things that Cramry has plenty of.
Well, Mitchell just searched for the football, gathered it, gave it off, and then stepping through Cunningham, little under Liberatore, Biggs. He's got Cramry to deal with, lurking around. Smith holds off Griffin, and then Smith gives terrific stuff. Cunningham, McVeigh, back to Rampy. Well, dangerous kick that's worked out, and now suddenly Lloyd's on his bike.
See, that's brave ball use by Rampy, prepared to go across the goals, just backing their foot skills, completely different to the Bulldogs with their ball movement.
That's better from the Bulldogs, though. They shut the Sydney Swans down for one of the few times today.
Well, normally, Tim, at half-back, you look forward and look who they're going to kick to, as opposed to the Dogs. You go, how are they going to move forward? But as you said, they got held up on that occasion. Robat back to Liberatore. Sort of a low percentage handball, end up with Higgins just having to wait a long time. It was a bit of a loop ball. And the Swans again get themselves out of trouble from half-back, maybe momentarily. Bontempelli, Mercurial at times this year. This time Cooney couldn't take it cleanly. Higgins left it behind. And the new father just holds it up. Stringer.
And for one of the few times today, they got repeat forward entries then too. So they've actually fixed something at quarter time, and that's their ability to close Sydney down at that part of the ground. So, I mean, that's really good coaching, and it's good for the players to be able to follow those instructions.
How good was Bontempelli? Soft hands, just taking it like a wicketkeeper. Standing up.
Sorry.
Ball up. About 25 metres out there. Dogs on the attack. Hanbury. One down by Cordy. Smith under pressure. Boyd missed the target. Dalhouse stood his ground, surrounded now. Gets it to Cramry. He was in trouble. Smith lost it. Boyd. He fired it out to Cooney, who couldn't control it. Grundy tries to find a way through. Well done, Lloyd. Only as far as Austin. Really congested football, tough football. Dalhouse. Griffin comes away with it. Stevens lays it back. Picken under pressure. Goes with the outside of the boot. It's on line. Well, the players back there, Sydney. Now,
Touched all clear.
Woods wanted to go, but that was too quick.
He's got a signal. He's got a signal, Woodsy.
That's right. That's right.
Stay out. Play on. Play on.
Well, Grundy
You.
on the half volley. Franklin
Right on it. Stay there.
coming off that 9-goal haul. 15 scoring shots. We spoke about Lingy earlier. I mean, some defenders don't have that in 10 years. He had it in an afternoon in his 200th. Towers. He got his first in AFL football last week. Over the top, Jetta pushed out of the way. Umpire says no problems, Murphy.
Bob Murphy might have dodged one there. Just gave a bit of a shove. Gave it early to Jetta. He read the ball well, but the hands were definitely in the back.
Picken, you hear the Dogs fans unhappy with what they saw off the boot. Touched, says the umpire. There's Bontempelli. He has produced enough to give Dogs fans genuine joy and belief that they have unearthed a 10-year star. Some, Lingy and Tim, just look like they belong.
He certainly does. Couldn't agree more, Home.
They look so much alike, those two around the wall.
Boyd, as always, trying hard. Lloyd lost it. McVeigh got it. Mitchell got it from McVeigh, and to tip it again. These tall targets, they don't get any smaller, and these defenders are doing desperate stuff just to repel Murphy.
Great pressure.
Pressure continued. Impeded the kick. The youngster Bontempelli goes searching for a tall target in a Dogs jumper. Nothing found. Rowan.
He's got it then towards midfield. Towers, he's been okay. Alongside the centre circles, goes looking for Cunningham. Couldn't hang on. Taken by Pickin. Run comes from Higgins. In trouble. Dragged out. Gets boot to ball. But suddenly these Dogs are getting their paws dirty. A boundary throw in at the interchange gates. They want to be in it now. That's good.
That's a great sign, and great to see Rowan at half-back as well. I mean, he's got great speed, so he can break the line, but he's also doing a really good and important role today too, playing on Cooney.
Pike decisively. Parker is great. Slings it across to McVeigh. Goes down with left half forward. Pitches just inside the field of play. Wonderful balance by Morris there. He was pushed probably in the back, but we don't care too much whether or not there's a free kick there. We're just making the point he was off balance and he took it across the line.
Guys, we saw Tom Campbell come off early with a poke in the eye. He's still talking to the doctor and hasn't come back on. So with Will Minson out of the side, they really need him back out there around the clearances.
Well, Higgins spending a lot of time at half-back. They are under siege, but they haven't had their quarter-time margin extended. It was 37 at quarter-time, margin now 36. So the Dogs actually winning this quarter after 10 minutes. Higgins to Morris. He's got Pickin on the wing and Liberatore leading. Morris goes in the Liberatore direction. Biggs. Well, they're all in the right team at the right time, these youngsters, and Biggs will be trying very hard not to be dislodged, although there are some stars on their way back. Craig Bird, Kennedy, Betal will all make their way back in. Cordy to Liberatore.
Holding on. Tom Liberatore. No, he had a hold of him, didn't have the ball.
A lot of weights and a lot of steel thrown around the strong room by Cordy for limited time, isn't it?
Yeah, he's been in the system a while now. He's hopefully going to get a decent run at it. I mean, obviously not this year with only one game to go after this, but next year, hopefully he plays a full year for the Bulldogs.
Story of persistence so far for Cordy. Cramery caught out, lots of red and white jumpers, but it might work out for the Dogs. Well done, Adam Cooney. He gets another for the Dogs. Back to 5 goals.
There was nothing really scientific about the setup. They just kicked to a pack, but they got the ball at ground level over to Cooney, who's so clever, and that was a smart snap.
Just a touch of class, wasn't it, by Adam Cooney?
Margin back to 30. The crash through the pack there was Parker. Jong. It's a dangerous hand pass. Exposes the forward line as far as Sydney are concerned, but no one could run onto the footy. Pickett. Rather Pickin pleading his case in there, and Campbell looks the worse for wear. Hopefully he can come back. He sat down, he was ill-tempered, he wasn't happy, so something is bothering him.
Dennis, there's been a number of those injuries in recent time. The flick across the eye. Just trying to remember the West Coast Eagles player might have been one of their defenders, Eric McKenzie a couple of weeks ago too, I think suffered a similar injury.
Liberatore goes back. Murphy. Still Murphy. Interesting manoeuvre. So is that. Little sleight of hand by Towers. Back to Hanbury. Not a good kick, though. Real chance for the Dogs. They're on the move. Cooney. Man on Stevens. Doesn't use him. Hand pass comes from Young. Now it comes wider still from Dalhouse. Robat's got it about 55 metres out. A bit of a spark for these Western Bulldogs. Robat, though, holding on too long. Well, forget that. It gave Stringer time enough to get loose, and he's taken the mark in the right full forward pocket, and this can pull it back to 4 goals.
Not good news down here for the Bulldogs off the field. Tommy Campbell with that poke in the eye has been subbed out of the game. That brings on for the 12th time this year Gia as the sub.
Well, it's a big job now for Ace Cordy for the rest of the afternoon too.
Quite a contrast, isn't it? Campbell comes off and Gia comes on. So Stringer going at his second. This has been something of a revival. Stringer's kick. Well, we said before, they go left to right, so it was always on the wrong line.
So there's Gia. You know Brendan McCartney well, Lingy. Next week, perhaps his last game as a Bulldog. He'll play a full game.
Oh, he'll definitely play a full game. There's no way he'll play as a sub next week. Brendan McCartney will give him the opportunity to play what could be, well, what probably will be his final game in the footy jumper rather than the green.
Well, Liberatore, can he get another for the Dogs? Here they come. 4 of the last 6, 2 in a row.
Outstanding play, Jake Stringer, just opening that one up. Came from a turnover, finished by Libba, and he's very, very happy. Bulldogs in this second quarter been very good. They've settled into the game now. Can they keep going on with it? They have been impressive this last 5 or 10 minutes.
Sydney by 23 points. Liberatore to Griffin. Touched off the boot. Hanbury. Dalhouse applies a tackle on Jack and takes him down. Right, getting into this game, we've got a ball up alongside the centre circles. Umpire wasting no time. Roughhead improvising. They're out of ruckman. Boyd threw a boot at it. Tippett waiting for contact there. Liberatore, high steps out of the pack. He's playing well, Liberatore. Hand pass from Parker, standing up to Jetta. Jetta goes down towards half forward. Oh, he was always in trouble there when he didn't take all of the body, Morris. He got him a glancing blow, but Franklin still went at the football and took the mark.
That's the hard thing, isn't it? The Bulldogs, they scrapped away in close there. Libba nearly got the clearance, but Jetta gets it. As soon as it goes forward, it just looks so dangerous. Morris undersized. And Buddy, we know how good he is. So hard to stop.
Well, he's going at his third right here. Kick is on the way, and it's good. They needed that.
Well, Buddy Franklin has 3. He's got a lead of 6 on his premiership, or former premiership, well, still a premiership teammate, former teammate, Jared Roughhead. He looks like he'll bag his 3rd Coleman. Collingwood on Friday night for Ruffy. Richmond for the Swans next weekend. He's still got a fair bit to offer. You would think this afternoon. Goods steps inside, goes searching. This time he chooses Tippett.
Top of the arms.
You wouldn't want to be a defender in modern football.
Heavy umpire there, paying top of the arms. Let's have a look at it. Roughhead, yeah, there was arm contact, but gee, that's hard for the defenders, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, drags that right arm down. Probably there by the letter of the law, but tough gig for playing as a fullback.
A few defenders made a living out of chopping arms, didn't they, Tim?
There's some great ones.
So Tippett, he continues to surge. He's got 3, so too does Buddy. And the Swans kick away again. They lead it by 35.
Well, as we have another look at this, it's so hard for the defenders. Tim, how do you teach a young defender now in that situation to get a spoil in?
I don't think you teach him anything different than what he tried to do then. He was actually just trying to reach for the ball and make contact with the arm.
Griffin.
I don't think that was a deliberate just trying to take the arm out of the contest.
Malcheski thumps it down towards half forward and Goods. He's under pressure. Austin hung on a long time. Remember in the old days, Tim, the coaches used to say, chop their arms.
Chop the arms, yeah.
If you can't reach the ball, give him a bit of a smack in the arms.
That's right. Now, I'm not sure Roughhead played in those days, so I'm doing what I can, but we can't get him off the hook. They were very long arms, too. They're prevalent again there. Hanbury, sharp hand pass. Jack goes after it. Dalhouse taken down by Jack. Another ball up.
I'm liking what we're seeing from Tippett today, that sort of all-round performance. I mean, we know he's going in the ruck, but you know, he really wants to involve himself in every part of the game there today, which I think is a great sign as they head towards the finals of City Swans.
There goes the kick from Jack out of the congestion. Tippett again. Attracts a crowd. McVeigh storming past, taken by Murphy. Confronted by Goods. Well played, Murphy. Higgins comes away. Normally a good kick. Picking from half back, lobs one towards half forward. Bontempelli's outnumbered here. Almost the mark, almost the free, nothing doing. Crumbed by Shaw. Now it's with Jetta.
Jetta thumps it to half forward. The Dogs defenders being asked question after question. This time they go forward again and it's seamless. Parker this time the option.
And really, there was an error by Picken. When he got hold of the ball, he was kicking always to a 2-on-1. It was always going to be really difficult for Bontempelli. That's when he should have held the ball up and just brought a little bit more time so that they could set themselves up, Lingy.
And have a look at this. I reckon yeah, Heath Grundy definitely dodged one there. Should have been over the shoulder to Bontempelli. Lucky for the Swans.
So Parker, for his 20th of the year, he's just offline.
And you're right, Tim, about that pick and play on there. It's good to be proactive. It's good to want to move the ball on quickly. But then you get yourself in trouble when it's a blind play on and you don't know what's ahead of you and you just wheel and go and all of a sudden you look up and it's outnumbered against you and you kick it straight back to the opposition.
In front, Towers. Austin stole it from him. Towers reverses the roles and plays the tackle. And they've got a ball up.
And Lingy, especially when you're playing against such an experienced side like the Swans, Shaw and Grundy both zoned off before Pickett even went to kick it. That's just the smart things they have to work through as a young team.
Parker getting involved now. Well, upended. Austin. Griffin comes away, nicely done with dash, but then took too long. He was run down from behind by Biggs. Boyd onto the crumb. Rovac inside the forward 50. Stringer again. He's putting a handful down there, Stringer. We saw it against the Bombers. He's a hard man to tackle, and he's quick.
He's smart too. He put a little hook in his lead, then came back to the ball, and it was a beautifully directed and weighted kick to him. He's got a nice pair of hands.
That's 15.
So he's hard to tackle. He's quick. He's smart. He finished the afternoon as Malcolm Blight. And Stringer, 55 metres out. Across the face, live ball. They were Bulldog hands, but they couldn't hang on. Smith comes away and gets it to Rampy.
No, Blighty would have gone a barrel then. Drop punt's too sensible.
Play on.
Lloyd, rising star nominee last week against Swans.
Wait. Bulldogs runner. Your free kick. Bulldogs runner. Right into him. Go around, mate. Go around. Play on.
So Grundy, the sides go laterally. Richards.
Play on. You.
Somewhat of a renaissance as a Swan. Remarkable last couple of years. Lloyd again takes on the young man in McRae. Coughs the football up, this time Stevens. Back he goes to Boyd. Boyd, Higgins. Into the hands of Johannisen. Well, an early whistle. A little premature speculation. Back to Johannisen and wide again, this time to Boyd. Just pleading for some poise and calm. Over the top he goes to, and that was born elsewhere. The South African via Perth, now settled at the Whitten Oval.
Johannisen then goes around the boundary. Over the top, Richards just gets it across, playing safe. Boundary throw in.
She's been well held, Cramry, hasn't he? One possession so far. Rampy's done an excellent job on him.
I mean, in a perfect world, Cramry and Stringer wouldn't be key position players, would they?
They're third tools.
Right.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And then they'd be dangerous. Not that they're not some days. Kick from Cordy goes out of bounds on the bounce.
They need a first and a second tool, the Bulldogs, and then they can both play as third tools. They have a third and a fourth.
Well, obviously they know that themselves because it's been in the news recently. They're looking for a power forward. Knocked forward there by Pint, taken by Cooney. Bontempelli across the body, down towards full forward. Stringer surrounded, off hands, taken by Cramry. Tried to get a hand away. Nothing much doing there, although Smith ran into a teammate. So as a result, Stevens has a play on the football. He's at the base of that pack. Smith hand passes out. Only as far as Liberatore. Gave it to Bontempelli, and Bontempelli kicks a goal from 35.
Just looking through the top 10 draft picks. In 2012, it was Stringer and McRae at 5 and 6, and Bontempelli went 4 last year. They've picked well.
They have picked well. A good blend too. McRae's that really neat, smart outside type player. Stringer, power forward, can go midfield as well, and Bontempelli will just all class with everything he does. G. Libber was good then too. He's been sensational today.
Ooh. So after 1 goal in the opening term, and that followed 6 from Sydney, they've got 4 in this second term and get it back to within 30 points. Austin had to wait a while. Well, the look away is not going to come off. Jetta to McVeigh. Just has a look inside. Doesn't like anything initially. A couple of sort of pauses and then perhaps the long ball. No. He's a terrific player, Tim, isn't he? I mean, half-back he creates, and when he's thrown into the midfield, he hunters, he gathers, he distributes, and he can kick goals.
Well, he really went back to half-back by default. It was when Shaw went out of the side, they needed another really good ball controller back there.
The rest, as they say, is history. Two best and fairest. So Hannison, short, just over the man on the mark. Stevens right on the boundary line, takes the mark. Margin 31 points. It was 37 at quarter time. Stevens, former Eagle, drives it down towards half forward. Grundy, a hard man to outmaneuver. Cranberry did that, but couldn't hang on. McRae's been wonderful. So Hannison sold into trouble that time. The hand pass not so wonderful, and we'll have a throw in.
Gary Rowan so important for this Sydney team. Harry Cunningham as well. They provide that outside speed off half-back through the middle part of the ground. It allows blokes like Josh Kennedy and Hanbury and that to go to working close. Parker as well. Here goes Buddy.
Well, Buddy somehow becomes a midfielder. Works well amongst the mayhem. In front of Goods, it's a foot race. Goods and Austin. Goods with the sort of experience. Austin just hoping. Towers comes crashing through. Ends up with Goods somehow. Murphy, he captures Goods. What does the umpire say? Play on we go. Mitchell. Picken. A couple of youngsters go at the football. Towers involved too.
Buddy, don't be unselfish. Just keep going. Take them all on.
I think even some Dogs fans were hoping he was going to create something.
Boundary throw in. Clock running down to half-time. Under 2 minutes remaining. Pike, fingertips to it. Montepelli improvising. Rampy wants his left peg. Gets it. Sends it long down towards full forward. Morris and Franklin. Franklin has taken the mark. I thought for a moment that it popped out. It didn't. Or it may not have. We'll watch the replay and see. It certainly squirted out initially. He seemed to have it under control. You don't need another review. Where will it end? Franklin going at his fourth. And he puts it through. Well done, Buddy.
Bulldogs fans not happy at all with that one. Good kick by Rampy. Got it in deep. Let's have a look here. Oh, and he marked that. Yep. He got the hands under there. Yep. Good call by the umpire.
That's a great kick by Rampy, though, too, wasn't it? Sure. Oh, great mark there by Buddy. Good deep kick. You know, the other great thing about Rampy is that he was playing on Cranberry. Now he's on Dalhouse. So, yeah, not only can he play on sort of tallish type players, he can actually play on the small quicks as well. And Dalhouse is one of the most damaging small forwards in the game, so he's got the big job on him now, as Morris has got a massive job too on trying to quell the impact of Buddy Franklin.
Well, the Bulldogs are going to use the Tom Campbell as the concussion sub. They're just going to keep him down. He still hasn't come up for the rest of this quarter, but they're going to use their concussion sub, which they still have about 5 minutes to go with, which will see him out for this quarter.
Well, Bontempelli so clever to Boyd. The handball was brilliant. The finish, not quite there.
I've got a question on that. To me, it looked like Tom Campbell got a poke in the eye. Is that allowed under the concussion sub rules?
If you can get away with it, yeah. It's like anything.
We might have to ask that question, because that might be stretching it a little bit.
Last time we saw him, he was sort of looking dazed and confused, and dishevelled. Looked like he'd been at a good mate's wedding for 4 days. And then he was just ambling down the long race. We haven't seen him since. Well, perhaps time for the Swans. It's down to just seconds. They did lead by 37 at quarter time. The Dogs right now leading the term by a point. 36-point margin. Morris, Tippett and Franklin to deal with on a Sunday afternoon. You could think of easier things to do with your time.
Remarkably, Morris has actually played all right this half too, and Buddy's kicked 4 goals on him. I thought he's been pretty good. 7
between Franklin and Tippett, and not quite half-time. Hanbury, is there time for a mark? Well, doesn't matter much. John was there. You sense, Tim, the natives aren't too happy.
There's been a couple of contentious decisions, but I don't think they've got too much to worry about, the Bulldog fans, in terms of what the umpires or what impact the umpires have had on this game. Andrew Welsh is down there with Teddy Richards.
Well, Teddy, good start to the game. You really got him covered in all areas at the moment.
I wouldn't say that. I saw the stats at quarter time, and we had them on the scoreboard, but contested footy, clearances, tackles, they've still got us in a lot of areas, and they're able to kick a couple of consecutive goals that quarter. It's
a real strength of their game, the contested footy, but they've been able to get it in. You guys have really worked well at zoning off. Gary Rowan in defence has been a real key for you also. Yeah, so they had a bit of momentum that quarter, and we were able to get it back and kick a couple of goals, and we've got to start again. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks, Wilson.